Hi everyone, I am so excited that you're joining me tonight because I wanted to celebrate something very special. You might remember our last full-length video. I talked about the Disney company turning 100 years. Well, now it's time for a company that is just as, if not a little bit older. Actually, I take it back. It's about the same. But it has just as big a legacy, if not maybe even bigger. Warner Brothers is turning 100. That's right, it just turned 100. Can you believe it? Looney Tunes, Scooby Doo, DC comic franchises like movies and cartoons all started with this company. And it was all the way back in 1923 when, can you believe it, four brothers, let me see, Albert, Sam, Jack, and Harry, that's it. They all wanted to go into the ever-growing and still new world of show business. They wanted to make films. And, they made silent pictures, and that was how they got started. And believe it or not, a lot of you, younger viewers, may not know this, but not only did the first films or TV shows, maybe shows, all I know is they didn't have talking, or they didn't have movies with sounds at first. They used to have only silent pictures. And it wasn't until 1927 where the first, what they called talkies were made. That was back when they had sound with the pictures. And it was Warner Brothers that came up with it. Up until doing a little research, I certainly didn't know this. And, well, that definitely put them on the map. Well, actually, it definitely made them revolutionary, but it was the Jazz Singer, I believe, a film they made that put them back on the map. Where they got the loan for $50,000 to start all this, that I don't, and I'm not sure if I could ever know. But I do know that we owe a lot of great TV shows, like The Big Bang Theory, Friends, yeah, you doing? And movies featuring some very famous comic book characters like the Batman, as well as a lot of original characters in movies, which I just can't help loving and have since I was a little boy. And one of the most recent projects done by Warner Brothers actually is the reason I started the United Region, or wanted to do projects like the United Region. What I hope the United Region, what this program, this mission will lead to, kind of uniting the world. Let's just say I wanted to connect the world, and one of Warner Brothers' movies kind of inspired that, or gave me an idea on how I could do that. And I'm very grateful for that inspiration, imagery, my version of doing me, as they said in Space Jam: A New Legacy. My doing me, I guess you might say. And lots of other movies like, let me see, The Bucket List, or Dolphin Tales 1 and 2, without which I never would have known about the inspirational dolphin that lost her tail in a crab trap, but survived 15 years after great marine biologists or doctors. I don't know how you describe that, but I will say that a lot of well-meaning, a lot of wonderful people with the heart and the knowledge to do something about it, and the will to help this dolphin who didn't have a chance. And she lived 15 years without a tail, thanks to a special sock and a special prosthetic tail at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, as well as one or two other health institutions, I believe. And it was incredible. And Dolphin Tales 1 and 2 tells about, well, half of the story. Now, if you want the whole story, there are other ways. You know, you can visit the aquarium right here in Florida. Or, you know, there is a documentary, Winter the Dolphin That Can, I believe it's called. But bottom line, this is what taught me about her, what let me know she was real, or the reason I even heard of her story, and I couldn't believe it. And then I remember finding the website at the end of the film, and I used to watch all the time on the aquarium website for a long while. It was truly inspiring. And you know, there are lots of famous shows, like I said, of Friends and The Big Bang Theory, and quite a few others I can't think. And don't quote me on this, but I believe they had a loose association with Seinfeld, with the production of Seinfeld, one of their companies, Castle Rock Productions. And one of my favorites, the show was about nothing. Classic. And now they didn't exactly create Scooby Doo, but they did buy or preserve, they bought and they helped distribute, and they kind of worked with the directors of the company. I believe it was Hanna-Barbera Productions with William Hanna and Joseph Barbara. They made cartoons like the Flintstones, Scooby Doo, the Jetsons. And now they didn't always make all the movies with their cartoons, but they worked very closely with William and Joseph, and they helped make a lot of their projects come to life. Real life, I mean, live action. Like, they helped distribute the Scooby Doo films back in the early 2000s. They made Yogi Bear. And let's see, they've helped make DC comic book projects come to life, like I said, like the Batman and many others. In fact, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I understand, were one of their highest grossing projects. Oh, another one of my favorite movies from Warner Brothers is The Intern. Also, one day that'll be a classic. Oh, National Lampoon. Oh, I forgot about that one. And for those of you who celebrate Christmas, starting tomorrow, happy holidays. And if you're looking for a great holiday movie, I recommend National Lampoon. Trust me. I think that's something, at least on some level, a lot of American families can relate to. And it doesn't just go throughout the United States. I'm sure somewhere throughout this world, on some level, everyone who celebrates Christmas all over the world can relate to this film. It's it's wild. It's a classic. I watch this and I think, oh, this is so my family. I've been thinking that for years. I remember once I took a little piece of the movie and I said something really funny for a family gathering. It was hilarious. Anyway, so as you can imagine, you know, Warner Brothers started so long ago. And actually it started with some of my favorite characters from my childhood. And as you can, I'm sure some of yours as well, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. The Looney Tunes, that's right, the Looney Tunes, or Merry Melodies, as the cartoons were called back then, which starred the Looney Tunes. They started back in the early days. I don't know exactly when, but I do know that they were one of, if not the earliest projects. And, you know, you might recognize a lot of the cartoons, and they've been coming back off and on the last century. And, well, they've had a way to just kind of always keep it real or keep it current with our audience. And, well, like I found on a website where I read about turning 100 years, the world has always been changing, and one of the reasons Warner Brothers has always been successful is that, like any famous company or team or or project, or, well, like a lot of important parts of everyday life, they've managed to change with the world, and they've managed to adapt to the world around them, and that's what makes their company and their movies and shows and, well, everything about them so relevant and up to date and, well, just enjoyable and relatable. And I'm very grateful for Warner Brothers being a big key part of inspiration and love and laughing and me kind of learning how to be spontaneous and be in the moment. That's actually, I didn't realize it till recently, but that's something I learned from the Looney Tunes. Something I learned from Space Jam, and, well, the lesson was in Space Jam too, but it took me a little while to realize that was without really trying. In a sense, Space Jam 1 teaches that too. That you can't not be who you are. And that was a lesson I learned from Scooby Doo too. A lot of times in my autism advocacy, I've talked about how there's a quote I love in Scooby Doo 2. I don't want to give away the movie if you haven't seen it. It's honestly one of, if not my favorite childhood film, or at least top 5. But there's a scene with actor Peter Boyle, and you would know him as Shaggy, Matthew Lillard. They're investigating the guy who was the black and eyed ghost to see if he knows anything about monsters showing up in their city. And he goes, "Get out of this game while you got a chance. All of us here ain't nothing to admire. We needed people to believe we were different than we were. Maybe because we believed that there was something wrong with who we were in the first place." I learned, and I blame television before I saw this, that I understood from the film that you can't be anyone else but yourself. And at the time, I didn't get why anyone would want to be anything else, or think that who would want to be anyone else. I have a better idea. Doesn't mean I would, but I kind of know how easy it is to want to. But to learn that, and it was an 11-year-old, believe me, I must have known something. It's hard to imagine. Warner Brothers did that for me. Not bad for an 11-year-old kid. I have to admit, I forgot. I meant to have a basketball here, but, well, for Space Jam. But I guess for another time. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me and celebrating Warner Brothers turning 100. It's hard to imagine all the time that's it's gone by, and all the projects and the inspiration on so many iconic characters and the legacy it's lifted, and how it shaped us as a culture, and how we tell stories and make each other laugh, and how we bring stories to life, how we tell stories, fictional and real. And it's amazing. And Warner Brothers is part of that legacy, part of the storytelling legacy. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great night. And I'll hope to talk a little bit about the holidays, best I can. Set up some topics, get started on that. And if you have a comment or any ideas for videos, please tell me. Autism advocacy, anything you want to see here in Pensacola, stress reduction, self-care, anything like that, you feel free to tell me. You can always write on the United Region email, or leave a comment below on the video, Facebook page, anything. You all have a great night, and until then, this has been Josh Edwards with United Region. Bye!